When the African Union builds the architecture of the institutions which build the union, fine. Then we say, who have to lead these institutions? We waste our time, we waste our energy discussing balance between English-speaking countries, French-speaking countries, Portuguese-speaking countries, you name it. We never discuss in terms of who speaks Yoruba, who speaks Swahili, who speaks Shangaan, for example. And that seems to be a very small thing. But the way we identify and we build institutions, we want to run our institutions continent-wide, are aligned with our former colonizers. You are a French-speaking, you are an English-speaking, you are a Portuguese-speaking. You don't discuss the quality of people you need to run institutions. You try to build these balances and sometimes compromising seriously the quality of work, the quality of outcome on the basis of our former colonizers. I think we need to be aware that, look, it's important to have regional balance, but regional balance shouldn't be defined in terms of language. It's in terms of acknowledging that as Africans as we are, even culturally, we need to bring different elements which define people in West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, Central Africa, but as Africans, not as defined by our colonizers. It's one example. But the other example, I think, which is also very important here, is our education systems. They don't acknowledge the realities of ordinary people on the continent. They don't bring into the system, a marriage between how people educate their children. They socialize them. They give them the tools to know how they define themselves within the family, within the community, within the nation, and how then the school is expected to bring elements of interpretation of the scientific world, but of who we are and how we work. Our education systems, they pull out children from the realities of their cultural environment, and they introduce elements which are many times completely alien to how people live and how people think. And that's an element of structurally alienating young generations, and you find that they are not connected. What they learn at school and what is the day-to-day life of their families and their communities. So I think we have to acknowledge that we have a way of educating. We have a way of molding young generations, but being grounded and rooted in their cultural institutions and cultural universe of the communities they come from. And that has to be combined with the scientific interpretation of the world, of nature, and then to build development on that basis.